Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson. Tonight, the government shutdown is now entering its fourth week, and neither side has moved much. The president has been arguing for the past 3 years that the United States needs a wall on its southern border. Agree with his positions or not, Trump has explained why he believes that repeatedly and in great detail, most recently in a live address to the country. Democrats, meanwhile, have argued the opposite. America should not have a border wall, they've said again and again. But the difference is they really haven't explained why. At various times, Democratic leaders have told us that walls don't work, walls are racist, walls are wasteful, walls are insufficient, walls are excessive, and walls are too old-fashioned. Walls are either medieval or ancient, depending upon who's reading the talking point at the time. Some of these arguments are semi-real, others are transparently fake. Still others flatly contradict one another. Rhetorically, the Democratic case against walls has been a mess from the beginning. At one point, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi tried to bring order to the chaos by flatly declaring that walls are immoral. She said that repeatedly with the force of a religious edict, which in effect it was. But in the end, the theology of it all was just too complex. It seemed to confuse people. How can walls be immoral if a lot of those who oppose walls have walls around their own homes? That was a tough case to make, even for a persistent faith leader like Nancy Pelosi. Finally, Pelosi just gave up. Yesterday, she accepted the inevitability of a border wall. But here's the catch, the hidden trap door in the space-time continuum that Pelosi is famous for in Washington. Yes, Democrats now support a border wall, but no, it's not the kind of wall you had in mind, the kind of wall you can touch or the kind of wall that might keep unwanted people out of your country. It is instead a digital wall. It's a massive, invisible edifice constructed entirely of virtual ones and zeros that reside in some Amazon server farm somewhere in suburban Virginia. It is the wall of the future, in other words, a wall that Google might build and probably will. Pelosi calls it a technological wall.
We are proposing is to build the infrastructure of the ports of entry, strengthen that, the ports of entry. Spend the money, it's hundreds of millions of dollars, but accessible to have the scanning technology, to scan cars coming through for drugs, contraband of any kind, weapons even. Repair the roads, facilitate immigration and trade in those regions. The positive, shall we say, almost technological wall that can be built is what we should be doing.
Of course, a technological wall. Why didn't we think of that? But wait, you say, aren't all walls technological walls? The only difference, of course, is in the kind of technology they employ. Well, yes, but before you get hung up on some semantic point, just be grateful that Pelosi is using the W word at all. There was a time not so long ago when she was telling us that a fleet of lawnmowers would be enough to secure the border.
Let's talk about where a more serious structure might be necessary, where fencing will do, where mowing the grass so that people can't be smuggled through the grass.
Well, at a certain point, you begin to wonder if Democrats are really as serious as they say they are about wanting to secure our border. Maybe you've asked yourself that question. Well, wonder no more. They are not interested, officially. Democrats support our immigration crisis, which they will be quick to remind you isn't actually a crisis at all, but part of the poem at the base of the Statue of Liberty. Democrats' main interest is in continuing the status quo, and they want to do that by making certain that no effective barrier is ever built along our southern border. To achieve that, Democrats and their faithful lackeys in the press will say anything, literally anything. Yesterday, to name but one among many examples, Democrat Katie Hill of California, a member of Congress, accused the president of engaging in a form of terrorism for disagreeing with her.
It gets more and more frustrating every single day to see how irrational he is, and we can't accept this anymore. To me, this is political terrorism.
Terrorism! Maybe that's next week's talking point. Check the Sunday shows to see if it makes an appearance there. This week, the phrase was vanity project. The wall, they're telling you, is somehow the president's vanity project, like a remodeled basement rec room or the Clinton Presidential Library. Some consultant thought up that line and emailed it to Pelosi and Schumer, who made certain that every Democrat in Washington included it in virtually every publicly uttered sentence for a period of at least 24 hours, which, of course, they were happy to do, being robots. Watch.
A construction brigade for the president's vanity project.
Doesn't necessarily require our building a vanity project concrete wall.
For one thing, this is a vanity wall.
The president is holding it up because of his vanity project.
The president of the United States has a vanity project that he doesn't want to give up.
He's spent on the issues that impact them every day, not on the president's vanity project.
This issue is about a vanity project for this president.
Right. Vanity? Well, that's a new concern in Washington. As it turns out, vanity is actually the main reason the left loves mass immigration in the first place. They let millions of poor people into your country at your expense, but they get to feel like heroes for doing it. It's really the equivalent of forcing a stranger to dump his wallet into the collection plate at gunpoint and then taking the tax deduction for it. It's a pretty great deal if you're the one holding the gun. In fact, you might call it the ultimate vanity project.